Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Federico Talks Watches. Now today, I wanted to recap a story that's been pretty big in the watch world, and that is the Grand Prix of Horlogerie de Genève. So what is the Grand Prix? The Grand Prix is very much like the Oscars of watchmaking. It happens once a year, and a bunch of watches are picked best in their category by a panel of judges. Now, just like the Oscars, it's a little political, so a bunch of brands don't participate as well. So you won't see any Patek Philippe's on this list. And there's also a bunch of categories. So I picked the 5 most interesting categories in my mind, and I'm going to recap them today with their winners and a little bit about all the other watches. If you want to see the full list of winners, I'll leave a link in the description below. And stick to the end of this video to see who the grand prize best watch of 2016 went to. Now, before we get started, of course, customary wristwatch check. I'm wearing the Panerai Radiomir PAM 380, I believe, and it's definitely probably one of my favorite watches in my collection. Maybe not number 1, but top 3, and I really am happy to wear it because it's winter, so I'm wearing straps again. It's a fantastic piece, and it looks greater on a larger gentleman's wrist. But let's get started. The first category I wanted to cover was the Ladies' Watch Prize, who won Best Ladies' Watch of 2016. And I'm happy to say that this honor went to Piaget. Now, if you guys didn't know, I used to work for Piaget, so I'm really happy to see them get this honor. And it's a watch that I think leads the category quite well. It is the Piaget Limelight Gala on the new Milanese bracelet. It only comes in precious metal and it's a quartz movement, but as you can see, the shape is very 60s and reminiscent of one of Piaget's older design. It's supposed to signify infinity, no end and no beginning. It's a very feminine shape and it actually sold quite well. But this year it comes on a Milanese bracelet. And I've actually been to the factory and I've seen these bracelets being made by hand. And hours of work go into making these very special and very flexible Milanese bracelets. I think it's a departure from some of the common designs. I love that Piaget went a little bit out there, and I definitely think this deserves the Ladies' Watch Prize. So congratulations, Piaget. This watch retails for 37,300 Swiss francs. The second category is Best Men's Watch, and this honor went to a brand called Gronfeld and their watch, the Gronfeld Remontois. Gronfeld is a very small Swiss watchmaker. They make probably under 1,000 pieces a year. This is a 39.5mm watch in rose gold, and it is a manual wind. It's a very classically designed shape, but the dial is more on the modern side. I think it's modern meets vintage in a very well-made fusion. But what makes this watch special? It has an 8-second constant force escapement. Now, what is that? Well, when you wind the watch, the mainspring tightens up and then releases energy. A constant force escapement makes sure the release of energy is, as the name suggests, constant. Because generally, as you lose power, the torque goes down and slowly the watch stops. And theoretically, it gets less accurate the less power there is. This constant force escapement does not allow the torque to change, so the power delivery is always constant. So once it hits its 36-hour power reserve, the watch just stops. Theoretically, it could go on for longer, but it wouldn't be as accurate. So the constant force escapement, something pioneered, I think, by Girard-Perregaux, is included in this watch, and this is a great feat of watchmaking. This beautiful piece retails for 54,000 Swiss francs. And yeah, that's a little bit steep, but definitely worth it if you want something unique that's very horologically significant. Now, number 3 is a category I picked for my fans, and that is Best Chronograph. I know a ton of you guys are huge Chronograph fans. This honor went to the Montblanc 1858 limited edition Chrono. Only 100 pieces were made. Now this is a larger chronograph at 44 millimeters, and it's a single push piece. But the movement is what really makes it special. It houses a Minerva caliber. Now Minerva was one of the very few fully integrated in-house chronograph manufacturers, and Montblanc bought their facility a few years ago. So this houses a Minerva chronograph in single push piece function, something very special and that collectors will definitely know the name of. It's in stainless steel and has the famous Minerva tail on the back of the movement. This watch retails for 25,000 Swiss francs. And you know what? I know I was kind of complaining about vintage-inspired watches, but this really hits the nail on the head. Some people might argue about the size, but until I see it in real life, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. This next prize is pretty special. Now please, excuse my pronunciation. This is the Petit Agile prize, and it's given to the best watch under $5,000. This year, no surprise, the prize went to the Tudor Heritage Black Bay Bronze. This is a fantastic model by Tudor that's been very, very popular. It's a 43 millimeter case, a cinnamon dial, and of course an aluminum bronze alloy case. Very much vintage inspired and with the new Tudor in-house movement. I like the use of bronze. It's something that I like to think of as a living material. It ages right before your eyes and it reacts with its atmosphere. So if you like a watch that patinas and changes, this is definitely a great choice. Not to mention, once again, it's a vintage throwback, but modernized a little bit, and I think it's executed extremely well, especially with that fantastic domed sapphire crystal and that great military-inspired strap. This watch retails for 3,800 Swiss francs, so well under $5,000. Congratulations, Tudor. I think it's well deserved. And now, of course, we get to the big boy prize, the Grand Prix, the best watch of 2016. This goes to the Ferdinand Berthoud FB1. Now, a lot of you guys probably have never heard of Ferdinand Berthoud. They're a very small independent watch manufacturer that makes very high-end pieces. Kind of similar to FP Journe, Greubel Forsey, maybe not quite in the style of Voutilainen because this is more complicated, but a very high-end independent watch manufacturer. There are less than 50 of these watches made per year in the FB1 incarnation. This is a hybrid white gold and titanium and has a bunch of really cool horological features. Power reserve indicator, a tourbillon, a constant force escapement, and one of my personal favorites, a fusée chain. Now, fusée chain is something very rarely used. You can see it in a few Langes, and it's reserved for some of the highest end watches out there today. This keeps the pull on the escapement, once again, constant, so it's supposed to make the watch more accurate over time. It's 44 millimeters, which is large, but if you want to include a tourbillon, a constant force escapement, and a fusée chain, the micromechanics, I think, don't really allow for it to be much smaller. This is easily one of the highest end watches released this year and one of the highest end watches in the current watch environment. So congratulations, Ferdinand Berthoud. The innovation is definitely there, and I think it's very well deserved. Now, I'm sure you guys can imagine this watch retails for quite a bit. It's 212,000 Swiss francs. Now, even though my list of 5 has come to the end, there's a bunch more categories. Best world time, best calendar, best artistic piece. Take a look at the Grand Prix website in the description below for a full gamut of not only the winners, but the participants. So, yes, Montblanc won Best Chronograph, but who did it beat out? Take a look below. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, that's at Federico Talks Watches, link in the description as well, so you can get some great watch content on the days when I don't upload. Thank you so much for sticking around for another episode of Federico Talks Watches. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.